When it comes to video production, it's always best to have someone to look to or have someone that can give you a little bit of advice on how to navigate into the right career. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Medina University. I'm Chris Benson, and today's show is a special one, not just for our crew who are interested in these kind of things, but for everyone watching who might want to go into the production of a show. Maybe that's a career you've been thinking about. I'm so excited to welcome Carlota Almanza-Lumpkin to our show, who's going to tell us the ins and outs of the production world. She has done just a few things in the media world. I can't wait for you to hear about it. Welcome to the show, Carlota.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So what made you want to go into media and the business?
Well, it was by default that I sort of transcended into media and television. In college, I had to take a course to round out my curriculum, and it was a humanities course, and it turned out it was a studio production class. I took the class to finish out my degree, which is a science degree. I have in psychology and biology, so I was a science nerd. And my roommate was a journalism student, and she recommended, she said, oh, take this class. It's a great class. You'll enjoy it. It's not heavy on homework, but it is totally engaging. And
Sounds
so
like
I
a
took
good combination. It
was great. And so I was piqued because I was a child that had been for 6 years an only child raised by television at home until my sister was born. And so it was one of those things that the science and industry of television really piqued my interest. So taking the course, it was also a follow-up that, oh, you can do an internship. And I became a great proponent of internships because after graduating from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor with the science degree, I decided, oh, I'm going to do an internship. My son, I had started my family. My son was in nursery school. My husband's practice was in the city. And so what should I do with myself? I could go and, get hired on at the hospital, or I could work in a science lab. But I decided that I was going to explore the internship based upon the studio production class that I took. And it launched me into an internship with Detroit Public Television. Which was a program which was international by satellite, Late Night America, and that program transcended me into becoming a television person. Public media, public television, community television really piqued my interest, and I was there for 34 years.
Wow, and it all came from an interaction with a roommate who was telling you about a good class and taking a chance on an internship.
Absolutely.
Wow, so for all those students out there who are watching, listen, when those little nudgings and suggestions come, follow through on them.
Exactly. Explore all the avenues, all the career tracks, because you really don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how it's going to fit and fill up your life. And that it did.
And you mentioned 34 years.
Yes.
And talk to me a little bit about where your path took you throughout that time. Some of the projects you've worked on. I know I read a bit about you, and I recognized a lot of the things that you've done.
Mm-hmm. I started out as an intern. A very basic internship with the program Late Night America. It was one of the first satellite late night call-in shows for PBS. So with public broadcasting, it was an opportunity that I got to meet so many people, so many celebrities right here in Detroit, because Detroit was the bridge at that time from New York to LA. Mm-hmm. When the celebrities and the authors were transported from the East Coast to the West Coast, they would stop in Detroit. WXYZ Channel 7 was a very popular local station at the time. And so you had Kelly and Company here in Detroit, and that was a must for local people and celebrities to visit. And meanwhile, Kelly and Company was in the morning. Late Night America was at night. Mm-hmm. So from 11:30 until 12:30 at night, we were on the air via satellite, and it was a call-in show. And so we worked and took phone calls from people all across the country asking questions of the celebrities about their books, about their movies, about all of the things that they were doing.
Oh, it sounds like it was just wonderful. And I read that I know you've worked on other shows, documentaries. I saw you worked with Dr. Nandy's show. I knew that, show as well. So you wove through those different experiences as well. How did you get there?
Each one of those events were opportunities that came in through the door with Detroit Public Television, starting out with Late Night America, and once that show folded, it actually moved and migrated to Washington, D.C. for a bit. And then after that, the station invited me to be the production coordinator for the department. I had some experience, and again, another class I took in business contracts afforded me the opportunity to work on releases and contracts with the station administration, and that was actually my first job.
Wow.
So I went from internship to joining the station as corporate and legal affairs associate. And then the producer, executive producer of Late Night America says, "We need you. We want you in our department," because I had the business experience, but I also had the zeal to want to find out more about the production side of it. And so I became the coordinator for the office in terms of making the logistics of flights and such between the celebrities going from New York to LA and then stopping off in Detroit, and coordinating their ground transportation to get to Channel 7 in the morning and then to be picked up for our show at night.
And I don't think people who watch the shows think about all that behind the scenes,
No,
do they?
they don't.
They have no idea what's involved.
It's a lot more, and you understand why you hear that there's so many people behind the scenes, rather than just the two of us here and a few camera people in studio. But there are the marketing people, there are the ground transportation people, there's the makeup artists that we have. And so essentially, it's an entire industry that supports all these different careers, and that was such an interesting component of learning that, okay, well, what is television, and what is broadcasting, and what is media? And then you hear about journalism and news and programming, and so that's the distinction that students eventually learn and understand.
There's so many parts and there's so many jobs that we don't realize exist. And once you
Exactly.
get into it, you can learn more about that.
Exactly.
We have to take a short break, but when we come back, you're going to hear more from Carlota about all the different things you can do with a production career. Stay tuned.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Pre-diabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch.
Van Gogh. Thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back. Chris Benson, and I'm here again with Carlota Almanza-Lumpkin, and we are hearing about all the different things that she's done related to production career. You know, we talked about the fact, I don't know if you ask students, like, what would you like to be when you grow up? Would they say, oh, I want to be in production? Probably not, because they don't realize all the things that are part of that. And you started to tell us a little bit about that and kind of where it took you. Tell us more.
Well, the television industry is such that for me, doing an internship was the door. It was how I got my foot in the door. And it was really more exploratory than anything else. And it's like, oh, I like that. I like the, you know, socialization. I like the communication part of it. And so when I pushed the internship, I was asked to do a second internship because at that point there was no employment at the station, and so as I said, I joined in as corporate and legal affairs, and then I moved back into production, and it was then that I became introduced to the entire industry through Dr. Lynn Boyle. Dr. Lynn Boyle was a producer and a model who was involved with NATAS, National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. And she needed some interns and docents so that we could be escorts for the local Emmy Awards. And this was back in 1983. And so she introduced me to the Television Academy, and I've been with the Television Academy ever since. But it was one of the things that, in addition to an internship, for students to know that not only should they explore those opportunities, but they should also engage in networking and work with people who are in the business so that they can get some insight and recommendations as to where they should go. One of my interns, I'm very proud of him, is Raj Roop with WJBK.
I'm very familiar with Raj Roop.
And Raj Roop was one of our interns, and it was with his association with NATAS that he got to meet Bill Bonds. Bill Bonds was the king of news, and Diana Lewis was the queen of news
so
at that particular time. And so both of them had that opportunity, as well as myself, to get more entrenched into the Television Academy and local television here in Detroit. Working at Detroit Public Television, I also had the opportunity when we had the Northwest Flight 255, it crashed. They called us because public broadcasting was sort of a non-compete with 2, 4, and 7.
Sure.
We were kind of somewhat like Swiss, being neutral, and so they called us and said that they needed some assistance because they were sending in the network people and they needed support. And I got the opportunity to be an associate producer and work on that national CBS News program. So one opportunity fed into the next. And that's one of the things students should know, that the more you engage, the more you can acquire information and contacts and network, and more you can learn about it.
Well, and I understand hearing about all these connections is so exciting. I know we've got some pictures that you've brought with us today, and we're going to take a look at those, and I wonder if you'll talk through what we're looking at here. What am I seeing? Oh, look at this happy group.
This is the actual Board of Governors, and our administrator is on the far left-hand side, Stacia Motley. She's been our administrator and executive director for almost 25, 30 years. And then we have the vice presidents who have been engaged, and Santa with the Christmas hat is from WKAR, Bob Gould. He was our president at the time. And so you have the fact that NATAS represents all of Michigan. We are National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, and we're throughout the entire state of Michigan, as far as Grand Rapids and Marquette and all of the different cities in between, including Lansing and Flint. You see on the screen one of our Emmy program cover books from the 2020 nominations. And the actual statue that you see has migrated. At one point, when I first started, the actual statue had a very rectangular base.
Oh.
And now there was so much clamoring that the membership, and NATAS is one of those trade organizations where input, even from production assistants and associate producer and craftspersons and camera people and editors and station managers, has some influence and input. When I was president of the Television Academy back in 1998, a category that we wanted in this area was weather. Channel
yes.
4's weather person suggested that we should have a weather category. And so we solicited for that weather category. Later we added a makeup category. So we listened to our members, and so who you see there are the Silver Circle recipients from one of the years. You'll see I'm on the far left.
Such an honor.
Diana Lewis, you have Gracie Gilchrist, who is the station manager at WXYZ. The first person seated is Diana Craig from Channel 50. You have Chris Kelly, also from Channel 50, and Jane Hodak. So it just fulfills the spectrum of all the stations. It's very inclusive.
What a wonderful walk through our local television history here in Detroit and Michigan. It's been such a pleasure doing that, and I love seeing all these wonderful faces. And I can't believe it's time for us to take another break already, but we do have to. So I hope everyone there will stay tuned. We've got so much more to talk with Carlota Almanza-Lumpkin about. Stay tuned.
Kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back again to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're in the studio with Carlota Almanza-Lumpkin. We've heard so many things about how she kept walking through those doors, and it's just made all the difference in her career. And I'd love to hear more about that. I think we left in the last episode where we were talking about there were internships that connected you to other opportunities, that connected you to other careers. And what do you want those that are watching in the audience to know about what you've learned in your life, about the various chances you took and opportunities that you engaged with?
Well, for the students, they need to know that life is a journey, and you really don't know it once you start in on that journey of where you can go and what you can actually experience. I had no idea that I would be in media. I had no idea as a little girl on the east side of Detroit watching television, keeping me company, that one day I'd be involved with television, broadcasting, journalism. I would, on occasion teach script writing proposals and budgets here at Madonna for the students. That students need to know that they can take any education career track, and what they can do with it is decide where they want to go, what more they want to learn, and decide how and what path they want to go in on. But it takes interactivity, it takes networking with someone who has either gone before you or someone who's going down a path so that they should engage. We're just coming out of COVID, and we so much in lockdown, and so in terms of connecting with people who are out there, we're all just celebrating, and we're so full of zeal and excitement to reconnect, and for instance with the Television Academy, to return to what we call normal in terms of Emmy Awards and Silver Circle and Gold Circle Awards and social events and workshops. And students need to know that all of these experiences are great and valuable experiences for them to interact with, to take a moment to pause and assess where they've been, what they're doing, where they want to go. A couple of years ago, I had a job change in that it's one of those things where television will change and you will change. And it came about that I needed to regroup and decide what to do with myself. And so, because of my age, because I'm eligible for Social Security and all the rest, and being the age I am and having had the experiences meeting the people that I did, it's one of those things where now I am in a position of giving back. I'm also in the position of teaching, and so I'm enjoying every moment of it. And I find that it's what I really wanted to do, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I can interact and exchange with the students. Some of the steps that I made, were there missteps? Unfortunately, I can't say that there were missteps. There were moments that you take, you regroup, and I got to meet the Pope.
Oh my
Pope
goodness.
John II, which was part of the production. And television, I would tell them, and broadcasting and production would take them wherever they really want to go. It's just seize the opportunity. Interns that I've worked with have come back to tell me that it changed their lives. We have one young man that I speak to now. He's in California. He just became an IBEW union employee and got his union card.
Good.
He worked on one of the movies that recently was released. And it's a big deal because being a person of color, you look at the early years when there was just a very monotonous view of who was in front, who was telling you information. Channel 4 is celebrating their 75th anniversary. And you can see the diversity. And part of what I have been involved in is the diversity that it's about skill. It's about, acquiring the talent and the honing the skills that you want to take you where you want to be, to do what you want. And it's not a job. Not if you find that you love it, not if you find that you're good at it and that you can excel in it and you can explore and find out where your talents will take you. And that's one of the most glorious things that students can really find out. Are they writers? Are they producers? Are they camera people? Are they editors? Are they graphic artists? This industry has all of that. And fortunately, within the Television Academy, I found that everyone was included in that. And for the Emmy Awards, for the Silver Circle Awards, for the Student Production Awards, there is a linear path from beginning until the end throughout your career so that excellence is celebrated, journalism is celebrated. And so that's one of the messages that I would definitely push.
Oh, and such an inspiring message it is, and I'm so glad you brought and shared it with us today. I want to make sure our viewers know where to find NATAS. Will you tell us what the website is for that?
Sure. You can go to natasmichigan.org, NATASMICHIGAN.org.
Oh, Carlota, it's been wonderful hearing, and I know I've just heard a fraction of all the wonderful things that you've done, and I appreciate you sharing that with our audience, and I know you've inspired a few people today to follow your path as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again for watching. We're so glad to have you with us, and we love sharing all these wonderful things that happen in our great state. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.